All right, yes. Thank you very much for staying with us once again and joining us on this channel, Sports 7GH. It's always a great pleasure to have you join us. Thank you very much for staying with us. Now, in this video, we are going to look at Black Stars players' performance in Europe. In fact, Ghanaian players, not only Black Stars players, Ghanaian players' performance in Europe. How did they perform? How did things go for them? We are going to look at all of that in this video on this channel. And then also Black Stars coach Otto Addo has spoken about his quality players he's having at his disposal at the senior national team, the Ghana Black Stars level. We are going to look at what Otto Addo had to say. He granted an interview with a FIFA media and finally talked about how impressed he is with the Black Stars quality. So let's look at whether unknown players, whether known Ghanaian players. Let's delve straight and look at how good they were during the weekend. Do also subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit the notification bell, and select all. Leave your thoughts and comments below in the comment section if you have any. It's always a great pleasure to have you join us. Thank you very much for staying. Now let's start from Israel. Godsway Donyo saw 30 minutes of action for Hapoel Hadara, which ended in a draw. Patrick Chumesi scored for Beita Jerusalem in their 3-2 win over SC Ashdod. Emmanuel J was in action for SC Ashdod as they lost 3-2 to Jerusalem. Beata Jerusalem. In Lithuania, Ghanaian duo David Martin Masagana Bebi Lithuania. Ghanaian duo David Martin and Divine now saw 90 minutes of action for FK Kanu Zagres in their 1-1 draw against Hagel Man. And then also Kwadwo Asamoah saw 11 minutes of action for FK Penis V's in their 1-1 draw against Dyna Alitos. In Malta, Simon Zibo was in action for Silima in their 2-0 win over Balzan. In Belgium, in the Jubilee Pro League, Mohammed Kudus saw 90 minutes of action for Royal Union SG against Saint Troiden, which ended in a draw 0-0. This game shame, but Mohammed Kudus didn't have any serious because the game ended in 0-0, so you don't have to really talk about any serious action. Emmanuel Toku in Cyprus saw 22 minutes of action for AEL Limassol in their 4-2 win over Omonia. And then also Ghanaian duo Eric Boache and Alex Safo were in action for Kamitosi in their 3-1 defeat to Aris. Richard Ofori was in action for Achinas 3-0 defeat to Omonia. If you go to Cyprus, they are Omonia. In the German Bundesliga 2, Ransford Yeboah Konisdorfer saw 78 minutes of action for Hamburger SV as they lost 1-0 to Hannover 96. Christopher J featured in Schalke's 2-2 draw against Magdeburg. Christopher J just moved to Schalke in this summer. Some few days ago, he moved to Schalke and he played a game for them. In Albania, Bismarck Charles saw 90 minutes of action for Skanderbeu in their 2-1 loss to Partizani. And then in Austria, David Atanga was involved in Wolfsberger's 4-2 win over Graza AK. Paul Mensah lasted 36 minutes in the game for BW Linz against SK Rapid, which ended in a 3-1 victory. In Italy, we have Caleb Akuban seeing 23 minutes of action for Genoa in their 1-0 win against Monza. Alfred Duncan played 90 minutes for Venezia against Fiorentina, which ended again in a 2-2 draw. Emmanuel Jesse for Empoli scored his first goal of the season to help Empoli record a 2-1 win over AS Roma. AS Roma and now But Emmanuel Jesse was in action, scoring a goal for the Empolians or the Empoli side. In Spain, in the La Liga, Inaki Williams saw 78 minutes of action for Athletic Bilbao in their 2-1 defeat to FC Barcelona. Abdo Momen was in action for Rayo Vallecano against Getafe, which ended in a draw. Okay, let's go to England. Jojo Olako was imposed for Crawley Town as they lost 1-0 to Wigan Athletic. In the Premier League, Thomas Partey scored his first goal of the season in Arsenal's 2-0 win against Aston Villa. Mohammed Kudus saw 88 minutes of action for West Ham United in their 2-0 win over Crystal Palace. Jeffrey Schlupp saw 9 minutes of action for Crystal Palace. Jordan Ayew made his debut for Leicester City in their 2-1 defeat to Fulham United. Abdul Fattah Ishahaku saw 90 minutes of that game for Leicester City versus Fulham United. Antoine Semenyo continued his impressive form with an assist for Bournemouth in their 1-1 draw against Newcastle United. In the Championship, Brandon Thomas Asante saw 90 minutes of action for Coventry Town in their 1-1 draw against Bristol City. In League 1, Kwame Poku was involved in Peterborough's 2-1 win over Exeter. Kevin Abrefi was in action for Reading as they lost 3-0 to Wrexham. In France, the League 1, Mohamed Salisu was involved in Monaco's 2-0 win over Olympique Lyon, playing 90 minutes of the game. Ernest Nyama unfortunately saw just 17 minutes of action for Lyon. Augustin Boache saw 23 minutes of action for Saint-Etienne in their 1-0 defeat to Le Havre. Saint-Etienne molusu 2 games, so munya careful man for Augustin Boache and relegation. Elisha Osu lasted 86 minutes in the game for Auxerre in their 2-0 defeat to Nantes. Ali Dusaidu was involved in Rennes' 3-1 defeat to Strasbourg. In the League 2, Nathaniel Ejay saw 5 minutes of action for Lorraine in their 2-0 win over Grenoble. So these are some of the Ghanaian players who were in action in Europe. All right, yes, in Europe. Ibrahim Osman didn't play for Feyenoord because his registration hasn't yet gotten through. Michael Beidou scored a goal for Elfsborg in the Swedish league. He scored for them. And then Gideon Mensah didn't play for Auxerre. All right, Gideon Mensah wasn't on the bench even for Auxerre. Mohammed Kudus played 8 minutes for West Ham versus Crystal Palace. He had 2 shots, 6 dribbles, 3 crosses, 100% accuracy. That was fantastic from Mohammed Kudus. Now, Black Stars coach Otto Addo has been speaking to the media in, I think, FIFA media, and he is saying that, look, he has a quality and talented players with the Black Stars, and indeed, that is showing on the field of play. Ghana coach Otto Addo has praised the quality of the current Black Star squad, saying he's delighted to work with them. The 45-year-old was reappointed as the head coach of the senior national team on a 34-month deal with an option to extend for another 1 year. Despite losing to Nigeria and drawing with Uganda in friendly games in March, Otto Addo recorded back-to-back wins in their first 2 competitive games versus Mali and versus Central African Republic in a 2026 World Cup qualifier. Speaking in an interview, the former Borussia Dortmund gaffer expressed his excitement with the quality of players at his disposal at the Black Stars. It is a good feeling. I knew most of the boys from the last World Cup, but it's also good to see new Ghanaian talents coming up, he told FIFA media. It is interesting to work with them, so it's been good seeing them. More Otto Addo added. Meanwhile, the Black Stars will return to action in September for their 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifiers games against Angola, the Baba Yara Stadium, before a trip to Niger in their Group F games. So Otto Addo is praising the Black Stars players for quality and how talented they are. We hope that he will win most of his games with these talented and quality players, and everybody will be impressed with all of that. Let me know your thoughts, comments, views, opinions in the comment section of this video. Like the video, hit the notification bell and select all. Leave your thoughts and comments below in the comment section if you have any. It's always a great pleasure to have you join us. I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye bye.